NASA appears divided over when to hold dialogue with the Jubilee administration, while one of the principals, Kalonzo Musyoka, is calling for dialogue before the swearing-in ceremony slated for the 30th of this month. The NASA Secretariat is emphatic that if the talks will be held, when they can only be done after the swearing-in ceremony. And as our senior political affairs reporter Chris Tairo now tells us, religious leaders and diplomats have told both sides to hold dialogue, and those efforts have hit a dead end due to the preconditions set by both camps.
As the countdown continues ahead of the controversial swearing-in of NASA principals Raila Odinga as the president and Kalonzo Musyoka as his deputy, religious groups and diplomats have been piling pressure on the two protagonists to agree and engage each other. But the hard nut to crack now for NASA is whether any dialogue should be conducted before or after the planned swearing-in.
Mimi nasema Uhuru, if you don't call Raila in the next 1 week maximum, inji imeharibika. That's it. Kama ni noma.
If there is any form of dialogue to be done, then it will be done after the 30th of January, so that the dialogue will be between two presidents, the Jubilee president and the president of the Republic of Kenya. That remains our position.
According to the head of the NASA Secretariat, Norman Magaya, the train has already left the station and that there is no turning back this time round, given that they postponed the planned swearing-in of the principals on the 12th of December last year without an outright explanation to their supporters.
We said we are ready to pay the ultimate price. So Jubilee can go to hell with their threats about treason. And if you think your opponent is breaching the law, why does it concern them? So let's meet on 30th evening if they're sure they are men enough to execute an arrest and prefer treason charges. We will be waiting for them.
And for those asking what next for NASA after the swearing-in,
who ask those questions assume that there will be Jubilee after 30th. The truth of the matter is that what we are planning to undertake will give us effective control of the systems of the state. And so we have no worry as to what needs to happen. We have an elaborate plan. Immediately after swearing in, we will roll out the structure of government.
Despite the international community and religious leaders pushing for dialogue between the two teams, Bishop David Oginde, who is a member of the Multi-Sectoral Forum, admits there have been obstacles.
What has been the biggest challenge is how that dialogue is going to take place, in what context, on what issues, what format, who is going to involve, and so on. Those are logistics and those are details that can be worked out. So I believe that whether 30th comes and goes, we will not give up.
What the ambassadors and some quarters in the religious leaders have been proposing in the form of dialogue is nothing but a charade to try and hoodwink the people of Kenya.
One of the main conditions that NASA has before any dialogue is that Jubilee should accept there was no election on the 26th October last year and agree to form a transitional government that will see a fresh presidential election is conducted.
Those of you who are NASA supporters and believe that something went wrong during the elections, let's allow opportunity for discussions. Let's allow opportunity for us to come to a place of common agreement. Those of you who are in Jubilee and believe that these NASA people are just a nuisance, elections are done, let's move on, let's build the country. Please step back and realize that unless there is peace in the nation, we cannot build a nation.
And as the clock ticks toward the 30th of this month, the spotlight still remains at State House, given that both the president and his deputy have decided to remain mum and leave all Kenyans guessing on when a complete new cabinet will be formed. Chris Tairo, KTN News.